started. And first thing I want to do is I want to start off by blooming my yeast or proofing my yeast, make sure it's good. So I have 11 ounces of room temperature water. This is not hot, it's not cold, it's about 80 degrees room temperature. All right. With that, I have yeast and sugar, active dry yeast and sugar, and I'm going ahead and sprinkle the yeast and sugar over the water. I'm going to give it a quick little mix here. Kind of dissolve it. And I'm going to let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. It should start foaming up. This is to make sure that my yeast is alive, it's active, it's ready to go. We don't want to make this whole dough and get to the end, and after we put it to proof for 6 hours, realize that the yeast wasn't active, and we wasted that time. So it's a 10-minute insurance policy we're taking out. And then in a bowl of a stand mixer, we're going to add, this is all-purpose flour. So we're going to add that to it. Okay. All-purpose flour. We're also going to be adding to this fine sea salt and cream of tartar. Now, it's kind of an odd ingredient that you don't normally see in pizza doughs. Cream of tartar is actually tartaric acid, and it's there because it helps to cut through some of the gluten structure. It helps denature the gluten bonds. Now, so we have that here. So we're going to want to do is just with the dough hook, real quick, just to kind of mix it in. We don't have to put it on the mixer or anything like that. We're just going to kind of mix it in briefly. Just kind of get it combined. Now, it's very specific. Corn oil, it's not vegetable oil, canola like we normally have, or even extra virgin olive oil. But corn oil gives it, I think I've said this word before, but it's a je ne sais quoi. It's a little background flavor that it's there. It's like, oh, it's something there. I just can't put my finger on it. And that's where the corn oil comes in. All right, we have a little bit more corn oil here. This to grease the bowl so that we can rise our dough. We got about 2 tablespoons of butter here. And this is, we're going to melt it, and that's used to grease the pan we're going to use to bake it. These are the pans we're going to use. This is a cake pan. So this, a 12-inch cake pan is what's recommended. You can also use a Chicago-style deep dish pan if you can find them or if you have them. But a lot of people don't, so that's where a cake pan is. Okay. Whole peeled San Marzano tomatoes. Now, they're not crushed. You want them peeled and you want them whole. I took them and I opened the can and I poured them into a strainer and I let them strain and drain a little bit to get rid of a lot of excess moisture, because you don't want a lot of moisture in there, especially when we go to put it on top of pizza. Then what we're going to do is we're going to hand crush these so that we get a crushed tomato, but we get the hand crush so we get a little bit of a rustic style. And then we're going to have Italian sausage. This is mild Italian. You can definitely use hot Italian if you would like. It's up to you. Bulk sausage. This is the one that's not in the case. Then what I did was I put it between 2 pieces of parchment paper, as you've seen. All right. And a rolling pin. All right. And I just simply rolled it out into a rough circle, roughly 12 inches. So it could fit inside my pan. All right. Now, I've seen people in Chicago, certain restaurants, they've taken the sausage and they torn it and they thrown little dollops of sausage. You're more than welcome and certainly welcome to do that. But I like a nice, beautiful single sheet of sausage on there so that when you cut it, everybody gets the same amount. So that's, it's a personal preference. But, with your family, your house, you can do however you feel is best or what you like. Okay? If you never had it, not sure, try it this way. Try it the other way. Make a decision for yourself. Okay? Never hurts to try a couple things and see. pepperoni. So it's pepperoni and sausage pizza. So this is thin sliced pepperoni. This is the big kind. You can use a regular one. But you don't want super thick pepperoni for this because it bakes for so long and it's underneath that it just may stay a little bit, not raw because it is a cooked product, but it just might not have that, cooked flavor that most people like pepperoni. This is the cheese component, a little bit different. It is mozzarella, but this is sliced mozz. And it's low moisture and a part skim. So that way it doesn't leak out moisture of it. Normally I wouldn't recommend using a fresh mozzarella for this because it has too much moisture in it. So it's sliced, and this is going to go in the very, very bottom, the first thing that goes on. And it's going to melt and make a beautiful sheet of it. We're going to be using some grated Parmesan. Go ahead and use the good stuff because this is going to go on very top, and you're going to taste it. And it's going to cook a little bit, so might as well, go for it. And I'm using Broden Taylor proofing station. I love it. I think it's fantastic. It lets you set the temperature and control the humidity inside of it, and you can get a beautiful, even rise on your doughs and breads. So that's what I'm using. If you have one, by all means, please, I would love for you to use it. But if not, the other second best place to let your bread rise and proof is actually in the oven, but an oven that's completely turned off and cold. And just having the oven light on is just enough heat that you need. So that's a beautiful place to do it because it's draft free. All right, but please make sure that your oven is off. Make sure there's nothing that just recently was baked in there. And turn on the oven light. So you want a cold oven with the oven light and cover it. And that's a beautiful place to rise. Now that we've been a few minutes, we can see that our our yeast has been alive. It's active. If I move it around, I got foaming happening. So my yeast is good to go. So now we can continue our dough itself. So to our flour, we're going to add all of the yeast and sugar mixture. All right. Get it all in there. And we're going to add all of the corn oil to that. All right. Go ahead and dump it in. And then with the rubber spatula, briefly, we're going to go ahead and stir it together till we get just barely coming together, forming like a really, really rough dough. I'm not looking for anything that is starting to actually be kneaded, just trying to get it together. And that's for the purpose of it. I don't want to leave any flour on the bottom of the pan or of the mixing bowl. All right. So listen, that's what I did. Look at it here. See, I just did a rough dough. All right. Get it off my spatula. Now it's time for me to actually put it in our mixer. I have a stand mixer here. It's a dough hook. There it is. Let's raise it up. And then I'm going to start off on low. And I'm going to do it about 90 seconds. And then to a medium bowl, I'm going to add a little bit of corn oil over there just to grease the bowl. So we're about 90 seconds in. I'm going to stop it. I'll lower my mixer. All right. And basically, I'm going to use my rubber spatula. I'm going to scrape down the dough hook with any of the dough that was on there. We'll put the dough back in. And as you see, it's nice. Beautiful, it's nice and even and smooth, right? And it comes away pretty nicely. And I'm just going to take it. I'm not trying to use my hands because it's very sticky. But I'm going to actually put it in our bowl, our pre-greased bowl. Just like that. Okay? And I'm going to cover it in plastic wrap. And then we're going to let it rise for 6 hours. ta-da, we have a dough that has risen 6 hours. And it's beautiful. Now we're going to go ahead and knock it back. Punch it down a little bit, just to degas. Not really violent with it. I'm not punching it. I know they say punch it down, but you know, we're just kind of knocking out the air. So you notice I'm just kind of moving it and it's deflating it. That's all I want to do. All right, deflate it. All right, now it's deflated, and we're going to let it kind of just sit there and rest and chill for roughly about 15 minutes, maybe plus or minus a few minutes here and there. Whole peeled tomatoes, right? And then so I'm just going to take my hands and gently, and try to protect it from going everywhere, is squeeze these tomatoes, all right? And we're going to squeeze them and we're going to crush them down by hand. You could, you know, buy a crushed tomato, and that's definitely okay. However, I just think that, you know, let's buy some whole tomatoes. They're processed less. They're just peeled, and we're going to get a beautiful rustic sauce that we're going to make, and we get to control how chunky we have it, how smooth. Sometimes it's nice to have little pieces that are just a little bit bigger than the others. So I think it's been about 15 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and take our dough, and we're going to put it in there. So we're going to take it. I like to take about, I don't know, less than a quarter of it, more than an eighth, and reserve it, because you don't need all this dough. You can do something else with it later. And the rest of it, we're going to put right into the bottom of the dough. Put it over here. All right, and what we want to do is we want to pat this out into the bottom. All right, and we're looking to get an even consistency on the bottom of it. All right. And then we want to do is we want to bring it up the sides. Now, it's not going to go all the way up the sides. It's not going to go and hang over. But we're going to pat it up the sides. All right. All right, and then using your hands, kind of forming that crust. You want to make sure that the bottom layer is nice and even. There's no holes in it. And this dough is super spongy, that if you do get a little hole, then you're more than welcome to go ahead and it'll seal itself if you push the dough over it. All right? There we go. We got a nice little basic dough thing here. Now, the first thing that's going to go down is a little bit unorthodox, is we're going to put some mozzarella down first. All right, the mozzarella goes on the very bottom, and that's why we buy the sliced one, the low moisture. Goes down. You can make it as cheesy as you like. I know some people love their pizza cheesy. All right. So then for me, I like the next thing to go down is my sausage. All right. So I'm gonna take off the top layer of parchment. All right. And then that's where the beautiness of me rolling it out into a circle comes in. So that way I can just put it down right on top right here. Okay? And you start peeling it off. And it comes off in a sheet. Beautiful sheet of sausage. All right, so we have our sausage layer done here. All right, nice and beautiful layer of sausage. All right, and I'm going to continue kind of just building this layer up the sides. So I got a rim. Okay, you see how we have a layer of sausage? Now we're going to go with pepperoni. All right, and the pepperoni goes on there, and you can do it however you like. I kind of like doing it in a circle. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue bringing up this dough on the wall. And now let's go with our tomatoes. So this is the last thing that goes is our tomatoes. So we're going to take these beautiful hand-crushed San Marzano tomatoes, and we're going to layer them in. And that goes on top of everything. It almost acts like a little encasement for the meats. All right, like a meat blanket. The meat is covered by the blanket of sauce. And it's beautiful there. All right. So notice there's no salt, there's no pepper in it. You don't need it. The meats have enough salt for the whole dish. All right. And then the last thing that's going to go on is the beautiful Parmigiano Reggiano. All right. And we're just going to sprinkle that all over the top. You can use Romano if you want. You can use Pecorino. Use whatever you like. This is your food. All right, so if you like something else, use that. Doesn't matter. All right? It's enough for me. Then, we're going to put it in the oven. We're going to bake it. It's going to bake at 450 degrees in a preheated oven for 25-30 minutes. Rotating it 180 degrees, half wet. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Crust is beautifully crisp, right? Cheese is melted. You can smell the beautiful tomatoes, the freshness of it. I mean, even though they're canned tomatoes, they're picked at the height of freshness. So you can smell those tomatoes and then the cheese. And this is just something that you can finish and you see and you can just take so much pride in. But I thank you very much, and I really hope you do this. I really appreciate it, and thank you for your attention.